stuff going on our street, from cleaning Ghana's streets to inspiring a whole new wave of youth activism. Today, we meet the young man leading the Buzstop Boys, proving that change really can start with a broom and a dream. And he's sitting here with us, a fine young man, Heneba Kwadwo Sarfo, who leads the Buzstop Boys movement, a volunteer group that is cleaning the streets of Accra. Bossman.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the afternoon show.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you.
Yes, sir.
And
nice
congratulations to start off with all the stuff you're doing out there.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
I found it interesting. Your name is Heneba, not Heneba, right?
No, Heneba.
It's Heneba.
Yes.
Why? Why is it Heneba?
Well, it used to be Heneba.
Ah.
But then as I learn, I realized that I need to change it to Heneba to make it unique.
Unique, eh? And you are very unique, especially with your initiative and what you're doing. A lot of young people in different countries, and even here in Ghana, talk about change. We can complain on social media, complain on air, but we never really move. You have moved, and you're making a really good change in the country. Let's start off with your background, where you come from, and how that has shaped your value.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon to everybody watching. So my background is, let me say, basically I'm named after Apostle Dr. Engineer Kwadwo Sarfo Kantanka, the late. And a lot of my understanding of life and everything, you know, is basically because of how I grew up knowing him. You know, he's somebody that will make you understand that in spite of everything that you have, if all of us are suffering, then the point of your success doesn't make any relevance.
Wow.
Because he will let you also understand that the greatness of a nation is not dependent of 2 or 3 or 100 people who are successful. But then if we have more successful people, then of course that is our success story. So these are basically, he is somebody who also tells you that your service to mankind is the only service you can render to God, because we represent man represents God on earth, just as Jesus said in the Bible as well, that I went to jail, he didn't come to visit me and all of that. So these fundamentals shaped my perception about life to also understand that my little observation up to today, I can also say that as we grow as a nation, we are leaving a lot of good behind in the name of modernization, so to say. Because if you look at what we are doing now with community spirit, it's something that has existed before. Because I remember back in the days, 90s, nobody built our community toilets. This is something that we do as a community. But fast forward today, you sit on radio or listen to TV and you see community leaders saying that they are begging on government to build us toilets. Then it tells me that we are progressing, yes, but we are leaving something behind that if we don't take conscious and deliberate effort to even tell the story to the younger people, we will basically grow up and have maybe the best economy, and we'll take just one ignorant youth who have power when this current generation is no more, and they destroy the whole economy back to zero.
Wow.
So for me, my understanding of life itself is the knowledge of the masses, because if the masses do agree and understand that I don't have to litter, then the conversation about providing dustbins, we can relegate that and begin to talk about other things that will make us great. So if we can invest in telling the story of the younger generation, just to sum up my growing up and all of this, forming how I understand, and I need to also portray to let especially the young people know some of these things. So it's basically this deeper understanding of life that, you know, inspire the journey all the time. So even if nobody says thank you, I do understand that the best service I can render to God is to render honesty to
mankind. My goodness, Kwadwo, you speak with the wisdom of a 60-year-old. It's very, very impressive. And for the many people who think that sometimes people sit on television and just tout or brag or boast or say some of these things, you're not just doing this because you have the opportunity to do it now. You started even back on campus. Let's talk about your education, where we understand that you drove a taxi while in Legon. Tell me about your educational journey. So, you know, your Apostle Kwadwo Sarfo, then where did you go to high school?
Nkoko Secondary School, Kosek. Yeah, Kosek. Nkoko Senior High School.
I've never heard it.
It's in the only secondary school in the Kwewu West. You know, but you know Nkoko, right?
Yeah, I know Nkoko.
Yeah, so there's a secondary school there, Nkoko Court and Nkoko Secondary School.
Okay.
And the slogan is Oboma, so that's where I had my secondary education. And that school in itself, so I say it's the best school, not because of the name, but then it's a school that shapes your character. It builds you for the society. Maybe I don't know for now, but at my time, the school itself will build you to face any hardship. So the seniors that we met at the time, they were more or less like our fathers. And you dare not disobey.
You
so
know?
We don't need teachers to discipline us, but in the dormitories, there were elderly people who make sure you do the right thing. So respect going out to Nkoko Senior High School. And from there, I came to Legon, where I actually did a course called CYP, Youth in Development Work. So my story about the taxi, in 2014, I had a taxi in December 2014, and admission came along the line. So December 2014 was when I began school. So during my school days, I used to do this Guru Boys thing at the Italian embassy. So I can proudly say that I have secured visas for about 51 people.
Look at that.
During my Guru visa, journey. So through that, I also had some money, and that's what I invested or went into the taxi with. Then I was doing this Guru boy thing before going to Legon. So with the little money that I had, I was able to secure a work and pay. It wasn't a fully paid. I paid like half, and the half was spread for me to pay in installments. So while I was on campus, if I don't have lectures, then I jump on my taxi. Taxi, just go and make some runs and, of course, hustle my own way. So from that, I was able to get or buy another one, Toyota Hyundai Gets. That was in 2016. Then I was off campus.
Oh, you graduated. Okay.
So off campus, I had the Uber, which is Hyundai Gets, and the taxi, which is Atos. So I had to give the taxi out to a driver and then manage the Uber. So I was doing the Uber too. At a point, I felt like the stress, sometimes you can drive like 15, 20 minutes. You pick somebody up and the person is going like 3 minutes. And I felt like, no, I need to stop this. So at that point too, I need to just sell off the car to somebody who needs it and to be able to journey, because I was fortunate to also have the opportunity to be in a construction firm through one senior man of mine called Kwabena Sempa. He was a civil engineer. So 2019, he gave me the opportunity to come and drive in the company. And because of my experience as a taxi driver, I decided to sell off the car and then move on. So from 2019 to 2023, I was there. I went in as a driver in QGMI, that is Kiros Gabal Marketing Construction. They used to be Kiros Gabal, the contractors of the Circle Dubai. Yeah, but they changed a few things and now they are QGMI. So I worked with them, and from driver, I became a supervisor, championing anything that has to do with the concrete side, because I love to learn. So wherever I find myself, I always want to learn further. So there were a couple of things happened anyway, but in the end, I came out of that place as a supervisor in concrete, anything concrete, being it C25, what you need, the kind of grade that will give you the kind of strength that you need for your building and all of that. So in 2023, to run up my story and all of that, we have to come back home because government says at the time there is no money to pay contractors. So people were laid off. Anybody watching remember this story. So I also came back as such in 2023. And that was when the little money I had also from construction, I decided to put it to use, because I know that if I want to enjoy, I'll probably blow it and it won't fetch me any value. So reflecting on my upbringing and the little money I have, I thought of at least going into something that will give a picture of what it used to be to the younger generation. Because today, in my upbringing and in my honesty, I can say that a lot of the outdoors today have failed. And the reason being that when we were growing up, they were by the fireside teaching us morals. They were pimpana, nana, and all of those. They were outdoor telling us stories that automatically give us a certain forms of knowledge. Today, nobody is telling us anything. We are finding our faith on social media. And fast forward, the same adults will turn around and say the generation is like the youth are not respectful, but who is teaching us morals? So I thought of, at least in my own little way, let's begin something that will depict or tell some of the stories that we were. It's not like it's been all bad like this, because at least growing up from the 90s, I knew that we had a clean streets. And today, it's... Can I get some water? Today is...
Yes, we'll bring you some water.
Yeah, today is more or less like it's getting worse as we grow. So I felt like we should also try to find a way of telling our story to the younger generation. If not, one or two will pick up some of the lessons, and then we find a way to spice up our own tradition to benefit us.
Beautiful, Heneba. Certainly you've had the entrepreneurial journey and spirit throughout. And in 2023, you started Buzstop Boys.
Yes.
We'll get into that. But if you're watching, you can send in your questions and your thoughts to us on our WhatsApp number to be on the screen shortly, 0266 283 881, 0266 283 881. It will be on. Send us a WhatsApp message, and we will be happy to read it out. All right. Talking to Heneba Kwadwo Sarfo, lead of Buzstop Boys, as you can see on your screen, doing amazingly well out there. So you started Buzstop Boys in 2023.
Yes, sir.
With what motivation, Kwadwo, especially after contractors have been denied, being paid? What inspired you to go into this?
Okay, so like I said, my life was basically built on knowing how Kantanka does his stuff. So with the same tune or tonation from his words, service to mankind is service to God. And I also realized that the greatness of every nation, if you study all the great nations around, what makes them great is the environment. So if indeed we want to be great, then we need to start from the fundamentals. Because for me, I do understand that the journey towards success has foundations that you need to lay. So if we don't lay a foundation of a clean environment, and even 1 cedi becomes equivalent to $1, we are still going to spend on drugs, because clearly the field will demand more money, and the economy will still come down. But if you're able to build from a cleanliness level, then of course we have the foundation set already. The rest will be people who will be interested in what we do, and they're finding comfort in our environment to live with us, and the business will boom. So with that being said, service to mankind, service to God, with this understanding of it, I said, okay, fine. Then let's begin to go and tell the young people, especially, that yes, social media is powerful, but we can also use the same social media to speak out or to tell the things that we want, and not only pointing fingers. Because the truth is, in 30 years, whatever happens to this country, we will suffer. So if we will suffer, then the point of pointing fingers is no longer relevant, because at least we are almost 70 years in 2 years. So if not for anything at all, we as young people should begin the change that we want to see in leadership. And if we are building our own community toilets, automatically leadership will no longer build us toilets. Now they are going to think about things like robotics. How much more do we invest in the youth? Because already we are doing something positive. And for them for the only thing, or the only way we can get the results of what we want is when we begin to live those examples. Because for me, I see parenting as leadership, like president and parenting. If you as the father of the house, or if you are as the child of the house, you don't show any sign of, seriousness, the father has a lot to think of. So definitely, because you are not showing seriousness, they will pay attention to those who are showing seriousness. And if you're unfortunate and your seriousness is seen in dramatic stuff that gives you no future value, then of course they also see you as such. So for me, I am bent on trying to let us, the youth, understand that we can deliberately use social media to advance for the change that will affect our future. So sometimes imagine having a conversation that is demanding that the youth in one voice, we are saying we want Accra from Kumasi to Accra to be motorway. And then all of us in one voice. Whoever comes and who is capable of helping us to achieve this, we go in as youth with a focus on something that will benefit us. Because whether we like it or not, the potholes do not exempt your cars. So this perception also, this understanding also led into why we need to go back to the environment, not just clean, but to be able to explain some of these things whilst the videos goes on. To at least, if not everybody will get it, but if we have some people thinking in a line of Ghana first, then of course it becomes a reality and not just a dream.
What does the team look like now, Buzstop Boys? What does it look like now? How many people do you have on board, and how many people did you get when you started out?
Okay, so we started out with actively 3 of us, and 1 cameraman. So let me say 5 in general. But then now we have 141 active people who have their daily jobs. It's not like they are idling. A lot of them have daily jobs, like the military personnel, like the teachers, like the midwives, and whatsoever. But there are a few too who are post-national service graduates who are jobless. So we blend. When you have time, you come around, and when you don't have time, you stay, and then you come when you have. So for now, we have active 50 members, which largely of them are either post-national service graduates or those who do kind of hustle.
Yeah.
So they have most all the time. And there are some of them too, livelihood is now dependent on Buzstop Boys.
And is this pure volunteering?
Yes, but the good side is those who are supporting us, because of that, if you go out, everybody, those who have been active, it's not like you come today, no. Those who have been active for some time, at least, if nobody donates to us, we, through our mediums of support, we get 50 cedis to compensate each transportation. And we are also fortunate to have food most of the time present.
That's so cool. So is that how it is funded? Is that how you fund it? Because it's just been 2 years.
Yes.
And you have all these people on board. Is that how you fund it? From volunteers, sponsors?
Yes, so that's basically how it's funded. Okay. And people like Vena Water who also committed to giving us water every day that we step out there. And those who are bringing us food. And one madam, for example, Mama Nanaya, anytime she sees our location, so she sends us 2,000 cedis to at least, because we have 3 tricycles and we must fuel all of them. And the sad part is, even after you are done cleaning and sorting the plastics out, where you even dump the remains that cannot be, you can't use for anything, you still need to pay before you even dump them. And where you have to take the sand out of the drains too. So everything is money. So at the end of the day, from every single location that we go, we spend not less than 2,000 cedis, from the 50 cedis compensation to fueling and other stuff that keeps us running.
What you're doing is spectacular. It's mind-blowing. I'm wondering how you're able to keep the team together. How are you able to sustain everyone? How are you able to tell them that, Charlie, we need to keep doing this because we have to? How are people able to stay on board? What are some of the challenges you face?
Okay, so let me start off with how people are stayed. I don't think that there is nothing uniquely I am doing. I just believe that we can still be honest with ourselves and be okay in life. I don't have to lie. So if somebody gives us 2,000, it's 2,000. So when we have, we share. If we don't have, that's it. And I think that is what is making people stay. Those who have been around from day one are still around. Because I believe that it's not just about what I will get as a person. I want to send a message to everybody for us to begin to understand that in this body, or as humans, there are 2 things that makes us humans. The knowledge that you have and the body that you have. So if you have the nice body and you don't have knowledge to complement the body, then even if you're a female in the community, you get to be used. But if you are a nice body or a dirty body, excuse my French, and you have knowledge to complement the body, you can still take the body everywhere that nice people will not go. So as young people, it's important that we also pay attention to being honest with ourselves, because it is the basics of every relationship. So that is how my people stay around. And for the challenges, I would say the big one is mindset, how people perceive the environment and even perceive everything we do in this country in general. Because when the mindset is clean and well focused on maybe ingenuity or nationalism, then of course we will be deliberate about supporting people who are doing things not for themselves but to portray Ghanaians good. For example, Inventor One, I've not met him before, but like Kantanka, this guy also manufactures and invents vehicles. So on the national perspective, you support such a young man, grow him up to a level, and then clearly you see that he also inspire more people who can manufacture, maybe use Kente to do other things, to also start showing. And we support all of them, because I believe that there are people who, if you support, it gives us a national interest. And there are people whom, if you support too, it becomes individual interest. So, honesty, basically.
We have some questions coming in and we'll jump into it shortly, yeah? People are asking, Buzstop Boys, is this only for boys?
No, it's both. In fact, the very first one that began was myself and my wife.
Oh.
So if today there's a co-founder, then of course she's a female. So it started with a male and a female. But the name itself, because we needed to see women are perceived to be physically soft.
Yeah.
But we need that aggressiveness of men to be able to tackle the kind of games that we see outside. So even though it's Buzstop Boys, male and female, it needs the energy of men. That is why the boys ends with it.
Okay. Heneba Kwadwo Sarfo, what's your view on Ghana's waste management infrastructure? Do you think that it's a civic problem, it's a civic behavior we are causing wherever we are now, or it's a structural problem? Maybe it's from the top. They are not able to handle waste in this country.
Okay, I'll say it's from education still, because everything starts from educating the people. And for now, you don't get to see active conversations about even when Captain Planet telling us good story about the environment. And you don't even get to see these cartoons and all the baby shark tutu. I believe that we can be creative about the environment in a language that young kids or infants understand. And right from there, we begin to, like I said, about having the body and the knowledge. Right from there, we begin to install the knowledge of the environment in these young people. So before they even grow up, they will know later, because they already do understand that they don't have to later, because they were taught from the very onset. So if we can bring back all the environmental studies and things that talks about good environmental practices, then we come back to the streets. Now the people they have the knowledge, they are on the streets now. So if you provide them with beans, they will use it because they know the value of the beans. But if we don't go through this structural process and then we provide beans, you still see a place where there's a dustbin and the whole place is littered because the software that will run the body for the body to use the dustbin is not installed. So we need to be deliberate about the structural system or the structural way of putting measures in place in order to have a good environment. Because if we don't do that, there will always be lapses and we'll make the job kind of back and forth in terms of waste management. Because through that, we can also talk about segregation. If we do it in a way, we can basically send a truck to various houses only to collect plastics. Because now the people understand the purpose of segregating their waste. Then we can also send a truck to various houses to go and collect only organic waste, because the knowledge of segregation is active. Then we can also send so 3 trucks will be sent in a day. They are all going for a various kind of waste. And then as soon as we bring the plastics, recycling is active. We are creating employment. As soon as we bring the organic waste, the organic manure is active. So we are creating employment. Straight away, it goes to the farm. See, so it needs to go through the process like that. And even the waste clothing can be also be turned around to manufacture new fashions. So I believe that we need to put in the system. Then the good side of putting in the system is that the results come back directly for the system to also use it for something that will benefit all of us at the end. Because if there are systems, then those who are pouring the human waste into the lavender hills, we'll send it to where it's due, and then maybe turn it around for organic fertilizer. Or we spread it on a vast land, and then we begin to plant our vegetables after 2-3 weeks. Then I believe that hand in hand, we are solving the problem to fix the problem, and the economy grows.
Heneba Kwadwo Sarfo for president, 2020. Love it, love it. We have some comments and thought coming on our WhatsApp. Ajwa is standing by to tell us about them. Ajwa?
Yes. So, I mean, I'm listening to the conversation and I can't help but agree with this very first comment, which says, Heneba is so ahead of his years. Is he related to Apostle Kwadwo Sarfo? Are you?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Oh, interesting. This one says, hi, Godwin and Noella. I really enjoy myself watching and listening to the guests you bring every single day. My favorite guests so far are Queen Etonam and her run-ups, but now I am listening to Heneba Kwadwo. I think the Buzstop Boys should be highly paid and credited for good sanitation. We definitely agree with you on that. This one also says, Godwin, please ask your guests, Kwadwo, when will they come to the Eastern region for their project? Okay. This other one also says, I'm Mabel watching you from our Western region. Kudos to the Buzstop Boys for their amazing work for our dear nation. And then this one also says, please, I want to know where Godwin... Godwin, you have a fan. They admire your outfit. So this one says he wants to know where you get your dresses from. And he admires it so much and he needs the contact of the one who made the outfit. So please, don't forget to leave that for us before the show ends. But we have quite a number going on. This one says he speaks so well. Good afternoon. Kudos to this Heneba guy. He's so brave and articulates with patriotism. Yeah, quite a number of them. And so we'll be reading some more messages. Please make sure that you keep sending in your messages so that we can read them right here on the show for you. And so, yeah.
Yes, indeed. We'll come back to you for more comments on our WhatsApp number. But yes, a reminder that you can join Media General as we bring together the brightest minds, change makers, policy makers, and industry leaders for the next big conversation. And while we're talking about the Buzstop Boys, we're talking about filtering the future as plastics, waste, and wealth. Discover how innovation, sustainability, and smart thinking can turn waste into opportunity and ideas into action for a cleaner, wealthier Ghana. This is a dialogue that defines tomorrow, filtering the future, Media Journal's Thought Leadership Series. Catch it live on TV3, 3FM, and all our digital platforms. A Media Journal, a thought leadership series, inspiring leadership, driving change, shaping the future. And sponsored, we'll tell you about our sponsors later. But I've been joined in studio by one of my favorite people, Lily.
Hi.
Walkley. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What do you think of this young man?
I'm blown away. It's laudable what he's done, what he's doing, and I know that people like him are the kind of conversations we're trying to push, because what he's doing needs to be amplified. He needs to go into the schools. I heard him talk about Captain Planet. Those cartoons weren't just cartoons. They were teaching us something. But today we're not getting those things anymore. And so I think you've done a wonderful job, and I can just imagine what the future holds for him.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. But for us, we also find this conversation very important.
Yeah.
So tell us about our thought leadership event happening tomorrow.
Just a few months ago, the rains came in and everywhere is flooding. And you have places like Airport Hills flooding as well. So it tells you that filth is becoming a menace that we need to curb and curb it very fast. Otherwise, we'll have issues. And so we felt that the topic needs to be discussed into more details. We get people like him, and I'm happy to know that he's also part of the panel that will be speaking tomorrow to tell us what he's done, what he sees on the ground. And we have financiers, we have people who turn waste into money. When I say waste into money, these recycling companies here and there. We have a lot of people who have knowledge about the topic. And so we feel that we need to bring them all together. We need to discuss it and see how the policies can be changed so that our lives start getting better. Because if we are sick, we can't come to work. If the country is flooded, we are all stuck. We'll have cholera and all that out there. So it's a topic that cannot just be swept under the carpet, for want of a better word. We need to get people who can speak to the matter and get us doing more than talking.
Kojo, just from what Lily has said, honestly, what policies, you're speaking tomorrow, all right, but ahead of it, what policies or interventions do you think we need as a country to really curb this issue of filth and waste?
Okay, I think first of all, there are already some existing laws like the Public Health Act 851, Section 56, that says categorically that prohibits any act that causes insanitary conditions, such as littering or dumping refuse. And there are fines attached to this. So the implementation of it is the number one. And then also we can then, aside from implementation or part of implementation, we can also bring the task forces back to town. Because to be honest, we don't stop at red lights because we are scared of red lights. But we know that the police is standing by that will arrest us. So if we can also make visible sanitation police on the street, people will no longer drop the litter. And then also, aside from that, we must also put dustbins and demarcate them into various, sections, plastics here and all of that. So for me, I sometimes even think that those who are even employed into National Fire Service, for example, we can employ such number, maybe 5,000 people, into community service, and then resource them or equip them with the knowledge to just go and then educate the community on some of the things that they can do to keep their surrounding clean. I believe there's one or two steps like this can cause change.
Now, Lily's going to tell us about the event tomorrow, when it's happening, the time and everything. But while you're talking, it's good that we tout some of your achievement.
Yes.
You've been recognized by AfroTalk's 50 Faces of the Future for 2025. Also, you collaborated with the Ghana Tourism Authority to champion the cleanup exercise. And then also recognized by the Berlin's 2025 Carnival of Cultures. How does this make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel like internet is powerful. And indeed, if you want to say anything or want to do anything, you can start off small on social media. If you do it well and do it with honesty, people can see you everywhere.
Indeed, indeed. Lily, Moki, please tell us about our event.
So
tomorrow.
our event starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. and I said it starts. So if anybody wants to be there, you need to be there before 8 a.m. because 8 a.m. we go live and we are doing it for just 2 hours. So 8 to 10 and we are done. And we are fortunate to have the Honorable Linda Akwele Oklu, who is the General Greater Accra Minister, who's going to be our chairperson. We also have Mrs. Kluche, the CEO of EPA, who's also going to be one of our keynote speakers. And then we have Joe Jackson. We have quite
The man himself.
he himself is also going to be there. And so we are putting everything together to make sure that this has the impact that it's supposed to get and make sure that everybody is aligned properly. And we are fortunate to be sponsored by ADB PLC, and they say Beyond Banking. They supported us last month. They are doing it this month, and we are hoping throughout the year they are going to be with us. We also have Dalex Swifts, and then from that they are from Dalex Finance. We have Lakeside Estates, and we have Haptel.
Beautiful.
So tomorrow, 8 a.m., we need to be on TV, and then we are also going to be live on all our social media platforms and radio. Labadi Beach Hotel, 8 a.m.
Thank you very much, Lily. We'll sure be there. And if you can't be there, we'll join on our
Sure.
online platforms as
Sure.
well. Could you, before you leave us, briefly tell us what the future holds for Buzstop Boys, and if you have any advice for a young person out there who has identified a grieving problem but don't know what step to take to at least start solving them, what would you tell them?
Okay, so to every young person out there, all I will say is that whatever you want to be, somebody have made it before. So if you want to be the best presenter, they're out there, look for them. Look at what they did right and what they did wrong, and then learn from it. For me, I believe that there is no point trying to make something new. Everything has already been made. You just have to figure out what you want to do, find people who are already doing it, learn from their mistakes, and then you grow. But in all, you have to be honest with yourself before you succeed in anything that you do. If not, you are more or less like starving yourself as a young person, and your dishonesty will fetch you or will come back hurting you when you are old. So let's be honest with everything, and God is wonderful. Just be honest.
God is wonderful. What's the future of Buzstop Boys?
Okay, so the future should, let me say, explore other things that we can do with waste. For me, I know, as a city, I know that when it comes to plastic, every plastic is recyclable. You just need you just need to know what you are doing. Every single plastic, the polythene bags, they are all recyclables. And then you can easily manufacture our own plastic chairs from the dormant or the dominant plastics in our compound. But already people are using bricks to plastics to manufacture bricks. We can only intensify that and then make it much more easier for people who have plastics to know where to send them. And finally, I think we can monetize waste. And if we monetize waste, now Kole will be clean in 1 hour. Because everybody will go and bring the waste to sell.
True.
And then we are also cleaning our water bodies indirectly.
Let's monetize waste. Thank you very much, Kwadwo Sarfo. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, some more comments from WhatsApp. Ajwa.
Yeah, this one says, good afternoon, sir. Kudos to this Heneba guy. He's so brave and articulates with patriotism. This one says, hi there. I worked closely with Kwadwo when he contested for Face of Kasu as a rep for Accra. He's always been very hardworking, and I'm not surprised he chose this path. May the God in whose path he's following keep blessing him and the team. Kudos to the Buzstop Boys. This one also says, good afternoon, boss. Please, I'm Yopo from Sunyani. What your guest Heneba is saying is true, especially the old guiding the young ones in growing up with the Ghanaian culture. Else, the social media is causing a lot of harm to the present generation. We still have some more coming in. This one also says that, let me just, yeah. So this one also says, this is from Heneba Sarfo. Okay, so this one says, Heneba Sarfo's is Ghana's weapon to winning the war against poor sanitation. He and the group Buzstop Boys are doing a marvelous job on the streets and gutters. Can the media help him get a contract and a massive support from government and corporate organizations to deal with waste in the country? Buzstop Boys is the solution to Ghana's HO sanitation problems. They need our support, okay? One more here says, this guy is just incredible. His dedication to keeping our streets clean is truly inspiring. His selfless work makes a big difference in making our city a better place for everyone. His hard work and commitment deserves awards.
Beautiful.
And this is what they're saying.
Beautiful. I want to join your next cleanup. Where are you cleaning?
From Wednesday to Friday, we are doing a clean carnival
Where?
at La Paz, Akwetema.
La Paz and Akwete, man. All right. CB. All right. DJ Phil.